The arrival of the sky over Xyler 9 was always dark. Thick purple clouds rolled like waves, and lightning cracked silently across the sky. The planet didn't welcome life. It crushed it, but something new arrived. A silver escape pod tore through. The clouds like a falling star. Fire trailed behind it, lighting up the jungle below for only a second, before it crashed hard into the trees. A huge boom echoed through the valley. Birds with metal-colored feathers scattered. Trees shook. And then silence. The pod lay broken. Smoke hissed out like steam from a monster's nose. Inside, Commander Rex Carter was still. His suit was burned, one leg bleeding, helmet cracked, but his eyes opened. Rex groaned, tried to sit up, and winced. His body screamed in pain. Where am I? He muttered dot. He crawled out of the pod. The jungle around him was strange. The trees were thick and blue. The ground glowed slightly. There were no normal sounds. No bugs, no wind, no animals. Just a deep, heavy silence. He didn't like it. Okay, Rex, you've crashed on another alien hellhole. Just another Tuesday, he joked weakly, trying to stay calm. Suddenly, he heard a noise. Click dash, click dot. Click dot. He turned. Nothing, but something was watching him. Up in the trees, hidden between glowing leaves, Lyra watched him. She had pale violet skin, big silver eyes, and long white hair that moved like water. She was part of the Ilari, a peaceful race that avoided outsiders. She wasn't supposed to be this close to the jungle, but curiosity had pulled her here. She had never seen a human before. She had heard stories, though, about how dangerous they were. Loud, emotional, stubborn, but this one looked different. He looked lost down below. Rex tore a piece of cloth and wrapped it around his leg. Gotta stop the bleeding, he mumbled. He pulled out a small scanner from his belt. The screen blinked red. No signal, of course. Rex sighed. Then, he stood up slowly and looked around. That's when he saw it. A stone, perfectly shaped, with strange symbols carved into it. Not natural. Someone or something lived here. As he moved closer, the jungle shifted. A cold wind passed through the trees. Then, something roared. It wasn't loud. It wasn't near. But it was enough to make every hair on Rex's body stand up. He turned quickly, hand on his belt where a weapon used to be. But he had nothing now. Just a damaged scanner, a half-broken suit, and some survival training. Lyra saw the fear in his face. She knew that roar. It belonged to the Vorax, the jungle's top predator. Sharp claws, 4 legs, 2 mouths. It could see heat. It could hear heartbeats. And it loved the taste of warm blood. It was hunting. Lyra should have left. She should have turned and run. But instead, she stayed. Watching. Rex didn't know what the Vorax was. But he felt the danger. He started moving, limping deeper into the jungle, hoping to find shelter. Trees towered over him. Some had glowing fruits. Others seemed to move slightly when he passed. He found a small cave under a rock ledge. It wasn't much, but it was dry. He crawled in and sat down, breathing hard. I need a plan, he said. Think, Carter, think. From the trees, Lyra crept closer. Still hidden, still silent. She took out a small crystal from her satchel. It glowed when danger was near. And now, it was almost burning. The Vorax was close. Rex tore a piece of metal from his broken pod earlier and started sharpening it on a rock. It wasn't much, but it was sharp. He heard the rustle again. Closer now. He peeked out of the cave. Leaves moved, and for a second he saw it. A shadow, tall, long, with glowing red eyes. His breath caught. He pulled back into the cave. I am. Not dying on some alien death jungle, he whispered. The creature stepped closer, and then, crack, a stick broke behind it. The predator turned. Its head twisted unnaturally. Then a stone flew from the trees and hit the predator in the side. It wasn't hard, but enough to distract it. Rex didn't see where it came from, but he didn't waste the moment. He bolted from the cave and ran limping, panting, stumbling into the trees. The predator roared. From above, Lyra watched silently, heart pounding. She hadn't meant to help. It just happened. The human disappeared into the trees, and the jungle fell silent once more. But now, the game had begun. Asterisk first contact the jungle was quiet again. Too quiet. Commander Rex Carter ran until his lungs burned. His legs screamed in pain, but he didn't stop. He couldn't, not with that thing behind him. He ducked under a tree root, the size of a bus, and rolled into a muddy trench. His breathing was heavy. He held the sharp metal shard in his hand like a knife, even though it felt useless against whatever just hunted him. The Vorax. He hadn't seen it clearly. Just a glimpse of claws, teeth. Eyes like burning coals. But that was enough. Rex pressed his back against the muddy wall and whispered, "I've seen some monsters before, but you? You're special." Click, click. Sniff, the sound came. From above. It was near again, and it was hunting. But Rex wasn't alone. Up in the trees, Lyra moved silently across the branches. Her feet didn't make a sound. She had followed him again against every law of her people. She didn't know. Why? Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was pity. Or maybe it was because the human didn't run like prey. He ran like a fighter. She had never seen that before. Lyra pulled out a small flute-like device and blew into it. No sound, but a high-pitched wave spread through the air. The Vorax paused. It snarled, shaking its head like it had heard something. Painful. Then it turned and ran off in another direction. Rex heard it leave. But he didn't relax. He waited 10 full minutes. Then he climbed out of the trench slowly, eyes scanning the jungle like a hunted animal. What just happened? He muttered. Something had saved him. Again, back at the crash site, he had felt it. That stone wasn't natural. Someone had placed it there. Someone intelligent. Someone close. He looked around. Then, carefully, he bent down and scratched a word into a wide leaf with the point of his metal shard. Friend? He laid the leaf flat on a nearby rock and stepped back, hands raised, showing he wasn't a threat. "Okay," he said aloud. "I know you're out there. I don't know what you are, but you're watching me. I'm not here to fight." He placed a small protein bar on the rock beside the leaf and turned and walked away, back into the trees. Later that night, Lyra dropped silently onto the jungle floor. She walked over to the leaf. She stared at the word "friend." She didn't understand the letters, but something about it made sense. The offering beside it, a strange food wrapped in plastic, smelled horrible. But it wasn't a weapon. She picked it up. She looked toward the trees where he had gone, and she smiled. Rex, meanwhile, found an old structure long abandoned, overgrown, with vines. It looked like some kind of alien outpost. Inside, the walls were covered in old marks, symbols, maybe warnings, maybe stories. He lit a small fire using a cracked emergency flare and some dry moss. As the flames danced, shadows moved. Across the walls, one shape appeared again and again, a tall beast with claws and 3 tails. Always drawn over fallen bodies. Always surrounded by bones. Rex stared at it. "You again," he whispered. "Guess you've been here a while." Then he saw something new. A different figure beside the beast, smaller, holding a strange object. A horn? and the beast was kneeling. Rex frowned. You can be tamed? The idea was crazy, but something inside him sparked. If it could bleed, it could be beaten. But what if it could be controlled? And he heard it again. Dot click dot 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 click dot 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 this time. It wasn't close dot. It was inside the outpost dot. Rex peeled the fire and dropped to the ground. The room went dark. He crawled behind a broken wall panel and held his breath. A shadow entered dot tall, powerful. Its head brushed the top of the doorway. It sniffed the air, moved closer. Then it stopped. Dot it looked down at the fire's remains. Dot it growled low and deep, like a warning. And then it turned and left. Dot Rex didn't move for a full hour. When he finally stood, he whispered, "Okay." That was too close. Then he saw it. On the ground, next to the wall where he had hidden, was a small blue stone, perfectly smooth, perfectly round. He hadn't seen it before. Someone had placed it there. And now he knew. He wasn't just being hunted. He was also being watched out and maybe protected. Asterisk predator games, the jungle had rules. But Rex, Carter wasn't here to follow them. He was here to rewrite them. 3 days had passed since his crash. His wounds were healing slowly. His body still ached, but his mind had sharpened. That old soldier instinct was back, buzzing just beneath the surface. And now he wasn't just running. He was planning. The Vorax wasn't just a predator. It was playing with him, testing him. Rex had caught glimpses, fresh claw marks on trees, bones left near his path, strange echoes mimicking his voice in the night. This wasn't an animal. It was a hunter. A smart one. So Rex decided to play a new game. He started by marking trees, leaving false trails using scraps of his uniform. He dug small spike traps using sharpened sticks, hidden under leaves. He crafted noisemakers with his suit's broken chip. When wind passed through them, they gave off a whistle like animal cries. The jungle began to respond. Asterisk birds flew off in the wrong direction. Predators circled air that smelled like bait. Rex didn't have firepower, but he had strategy. Meanwhile, Lyra watched in disbelief. She'd never seen anyone do this. Most beings landed on Zealer 9 and lasted minutes, maybe hours. But this human? He was adapting, learning, fighting back. The more she watched, the more she felt it. This one is different. Asterisk, but danger was growing. She could feel it in the ground. The Vorax pack was waking. The one that hunted Rex was not alone, and worse, it was calling them. That night, Rex sat high in a tree, hidden by thick leaves. He had baited the ground below with a piece of his emergency ration, soaked in his blood to attract attention. He waited. Sweat rolled down his neck. Every sound made his hand tighten around his crude spear. Then, movement. The bushes parted. But it wasn't the predator. It was her. Lyra. She stepped into the open slowly, arms raised to show she wasn't a threat. Her silver eyes met his in the darkness. Rex almost fell out of the tree in shock. He dropped down quickly, holding up the spear, but not pointing it at her. You're real, he said. Lyra tilted her head. Her voice was soft, melodic. You? Clever. Rex blinked. You speak English? She shook her head. A little. Listen long. He stared. Have you been following me this whole time? Lyra looked around nervously. Danger grows. More Vorax come. You must go. Rex narrowed his eyes. I can't. No ship. No comes. I either fight or die. Lyra stepped closer. You, not like others. Others scream. You plan. Rex smirked, just a little. Screaming wastes oxygen. Then her expression changed. Fear. She turned and pointed into the jungle. They come. And then the earth shook. Trees rustled. Violently. A loud howl echoed through the night, followed by 3 more, each from a different direction. Rex's heart dropped. They're circling us. He turned to Lyra. Can you run? She nodded. Then follow me. I have a plan. They ran through thick trees and glowing vines, dodging roots and leaping over fallen logs. Behind them, the forest roared with movement. Rex led her to the bone field, a trap he had prepared earlier. It was a natural clearing, filled with bones and dead roots. Rex had lined the center with a pit of sharpened spikes, covered by a thin layer of moss. He stood at the edge of the trap and waited. Lyra climbed up into a tree above him, holding her breath. The first Vorax emerged, twice Rex's size, jet black skin, 6 legs, 2 rows of jagged teeth, dripping green saliva. It growled, and charged. Rex stood still, perfectly still. At the last second, he dove aside. The beast roared, too fast to stop crash. It fell into the pit, shrieking as spikes pierced its body. But it wasn't dead. It was angry. And worse, 2 more were coming. Rex backed up. Okay. That one worked, kinda. From above, Lyra dropped something, a small blue orb. It hit the trapped Vorax and exploded in a flash of light. Boom. The ground shook. The jungle screamed. The trapped predator went silent. Rex looked up at her. What was that? Ancient lightstone, she said. Rare, but strong. He grinned. You're full of surprises, she smiled back. So are you. But then branches cracked. 2 more Vorax stepped into the clearing. No traps. No tricks. Just raw hunger. Lyra whispered, We cannot fight them. Rex tightened his grip on the spear. No, but we can lead them into the fire. She looked confused. He pointed to the dark sky, then back toward the broken alien outpost far behind them. I left something behind. A flare pack, a power cell, and fuel cells from the crash. All rigged, all waiting. Rex looked her in the eyes. Time to light this planet up. Asterisk Hunter becomes the hunted. The jungle was on fire, and Rex Carter was smiling. Behind him, the 2 remaining Vorax exploded from the trees like demons. Claws slashed. Trees fell, but Rex didn't stop. He wanted them to chase him. This was the plan. He ran straight toward the abandoned outpost, toward the trap he had built from scraps. Wires and fury. Lyra followed close, breath sharp, her alien eyes wide with fear. You smile, she called. Are you mad? Rex laughed breathlessly. Little bit, yeah. 10 minutes earlier, they had escaped the bone field barely alive. But Rex wasn't just running. He was baiting inside the old alien outpost. He had left a surprise. 2 emergency fuel cells from his pod, a broken but still functional flare pack, and 1 big rock holding it all in place if he could just reach it. And if the Vorax followed, they'd be running right into hellfire. Now, branches snapped behind him. The sound of snarling was closer. Rex stumbled, his legs still weak, but he pushed harder. He reached the outpost door, just as the first Vorax lunged. Rex rolled to the side, barely dodging the claws that tore into the metal wall. The creature shrieked, twisted, and charged again. But this time, Rex was ready. He slapped his hand against the flare pack's trigger. A red light began, blinking faster. Faster, he looked at Lyra. Get clear. She hesitated. What about you? I'll be right behind. Go. She vanished into the trees. The second Vorax leapt into the outpost, just as Rex ducked under a broken beam. Both predators were inside now. Trapped. And then boom. The flare pack exploded in a flash of blinding red. The power cells caught next. Fire ripped through the structure. Metal screamed. The air turned white hot. Trees bent. Shockwaves rolled, and silence fell. Rex lay flat under a steel panel he had placed earlier for cover. The world around him shook. Dirt rained down. He waited. Then dash movement. Something shifted in the smoke. He rose slowly, heart pounding. One Vorax lay broken, burned. UNMOVING. But the second? It was alive. Barely. Its body smoked. Its legs were weak. Half its face was gone, but it was still breathing. Rex stood. His clothes were burned. His skin was scratched. His spear was broken, but his eyes were locked on the beast. The hunter. The killer. The monster that had stalked him for days. And now? It was afraid. Backed away slowly. Growled low. Limbs shaking. Rex didn't charge. He didn't need to. He stepped forward, calm, like a man walking through a memory. You hunted me, he said. You studied me. Another step, but I watched. You too. The Vorax whimper ed. Another step. You thought I was prey. Rex knelt, picked up a broken metal rod glowing red-hot from the fire. I'm not. He raised the rod, but stopped. The Vorax didn't attack. It knelt. Eyes down. Chest low. It submitted. Rex stared, stunned. You understand submission? The beast growled low. A sound of respect. Rex dropped the rod. Behind him. Lyra stepped out from the trees, her face filled with awe. You tamed it, she whispered. Rex looked back at her. No, he pointed at his head. I outsmarted it. Lyra stepped closer, watching the creature, confused. It was born to kill. Rex chuckled. So was I. The moment held a strange peace in the ruins of war. But then the ground rumbled. Not from fire. Not from battle. From something deeper. Far away. Something was waking. Lyra's smile vanished. Her voice shook. There is more. Rex turned to her. More what? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at the Vorax, still kneeling, wounded, loyal, and said just one word. Pack. The arena of bones. The jungle was dying. The flames from the outpost still burned behind them. Smoke painted the sky black. Birds were gone. The trees no longer whispered. And deep beneath the ground. The pack was waking. Rex stood over the kneeling Vorax, breathing hard. His arms were shaking not from fear, but from adrenaline. Lyra stepped beside him, her voice low. They know. Rex turned. Know what? That you killed 2 of them. That you tamed one. You changed the rules. He looked back at the creature. It stared at him now with eyes that held something new. Respect. Rex wiped the blood off his face. Then let them come. I'm done running. Lyra led him to a place she had never dared go before. Even her people whispered about it. A place where light didn't touch the ground, where bones covered the earth like snow. They called it Arena of Bones, a dead zone in the jungle, a massive crater shaped like a perfect circle. Half-eaten skeletons of creatures from 100 worlds littered the edges. Rex saw twisted metal, 2 pieces of ship's armor, helmets. Not just animals had died here, warriors had died here. This is where they fight, Lyra said. When a pack wants a new leader, they battle here. Rex stepped forward, scanning the massive pit. So it's their coliseum. Lyra nodded slowly. And now, they want you. Rex gave a sharp, humorless laugh. Of course they do. He knelt beside a large skull. It was Alien 3 jaws, horns, and acid burn marks on the bone. Guess. I should bring something to the party. They spent the next 2 days preparing. Rex used every trick he knew from his military training, and then made up a few more on the spot. With Lyra's help, he rigged the arena with pitfall traps hidden beneath fragile bone piles, tripwire snares using jungle vines and bent steel rods. fire bombs made from salvaged flare chemicals and fruit skins, and a final surprise, a shock net, built using a scavenged Ilari energy cell. The Vorax he had tamed, he called it Ghost, helped mark the paths the others would likely come from. Ghost still growled often, but now it followed orders. It watched Rex. It learned, "You're not just muscle," Rex told it. "You're my edge." Lyra watched all of it with amazement. "You make weapons from ... junk." Rex smirked. "That's what humans do. Give us a stick and some tape. We'll build you a revolution." Night fell, and with it came the howls. They echoed from all directions. Low, deep, angry. The pack had arrived. Lyra stood behind a thick stone near the edge of the arena. Ghost crouched beside Rex at the center. The moon above was massive white and cracked like broken glass. Rex held a steel-tipped spear in one hand. In the other his flare lighter. "No more hiding," he whispered. "Let's end this." They... First Vorax charged out of the dark. Fast. Massive. Teeth flashing. Rex didn't move. He waited. Closer. Closer. Snap. The ground caved. The beast fell into the pit of sharpened bones and didn't come back up. From the left another two. Rex rolled behind a rib cage the size of a car and lit his first bomb. It flew through the air and exploded in flame. One Vorax caught fire and crashed into a rock wall. The second kept coming. Ghost tackled it mid-air. Claws. Teeth. Screams. Rex ran forward, driving his spear into the creature's neck. But then the ground shook again. The trees parted. And the Alpha arrived. It was bigger than the others. Taller than Rex. Its skin shimmered like armor. Its back was lined with black spines. Its mouth split into 4 jaws. And it spoke. Not in words, but in sound. A deep growl that vibrated in Rex's chest. Ghost whimper. Lyra gasped. Rex. Smiled. "There you are." The Alpha stepped into the arena. Alone. Challenge. Accepted. Rex dropped his spear and cracked his neck. No weapons. No tricks. He stepped into the circle of bones. This one's personal. They circled each other, predator and prey. Except now Rex was neither. He was something new. The Alpha lunged. Rex ducked, punched, dodged. He fought like a soldier, like a survivor, like a man who refused to die quietly. The Alpha slashed across his chest. Blood sprayed. Rex slammed the metal spike. Into its leg. Acid burned his arm. It was brutal, savage, primal. And then Rex tackled the Alpha into the trap. The shock net activated. Electricity exploded. The Alpha screamed. Rex screamed. And the jungle lit up. Silence. Smoke drifted over the bones. The Alpha lay still. Rex collapsed beside it, breathing like a man who'd punched death in the face. Lyra ran. To him. "You're alive." He coughed. "Barely." Ghost walked over and knelt. Behind it, the rest of the pack emerged. One by one. They knelt too. Rex sat up, staring. "They're mine now." Lyra nodded slowly. "You are not just survivor." She looked at the arena full of bowed beasts. "You are Alpha." Asterisk sacrifice and strategy. They bowed to him. The jungle. The predators. The pack. But victory was a lie. Rex stood at the edge of the arena of bones, surrounded by monsters who had once hunted him. They didn't growl now. They waited, obeyed. Lyra approached from behind, her face pale, her voice low. "Something is wrong." He turned. "Wrong how?" She pointed to the horizon. The sky was cracking. Clouds twisted into a spiral. Lightning stabbed down without thunder. The jungle trembled, not from footsteps, but from something deep below. "They're not the true threat," she whispered. They were guarding something. Rex's jaw tightened. "The Vorax?" "No," she said. what they were created to stop. Long ago, Lyra explained, Xyler 9 was not wild. That was a prison. A cage built around something ancient. Something not alive, not dead. A weapon created by a forgotten race. The Ilari called it the Hollow Star. A parasite. A sentient black void buried beneath the planet's core. It infects minds, corrupts bodies. It turns anything living into something else. Twisted. Hollow. The predators weren't the problem. They were the wall. And now, the wall was breaking. Later that night, Rex sat alone on a rock ledge overlooking the jungle. Ghost lay nearby, licking wounds. Lyra approached slowly, carrying a glowing map. The Ilari once sealed it below, she said. But the seal weakens. Every 1,000 years, Rex stared ahead. And this year just happens to be the 1,000th? She nodded. Lucky me. He stood up and pointed to a blinking section on the map. What's this? The vault, deep underground. The seal's center. If it breaks, Hollow Star escapes. Rex rubbed his chin. Then we go down there, and we seal it again. Lyra hesitated. You don't understand. To seal it, something must stay inside. He froze. Inside? She nodded. A life, a mind, a sacrifice. Rex exhaled slowly. Of course it needs a damn blood payment. The next morning, they began the descent. Rex, Lyra, Ghost, and 3 of the strongest Vorax. Loyal now, they crossed fire rivers, climbed down ancient stone shafts, past ruins that whispered. The air grew colder, heavy. The deeper they went, the more reality bent. Walls moved when you weren't looking. Voices echoed from nowhere. Ghost growled constantly, now afraid. Even Rex felt it, a pressure in his chest, a slow whisper in his ear. Let me in. He shook it off, hard. Today, they reached the vault. It was massive. A circular chamber, walls covered in glowing symbols, pulsing red. In the center, hovering in the air, was a black sphere, shifting, spinning, whispering. Lyra staggered. It's awake. One of the Vorax let out a high-pitched screech and turned on them. Its eyes turned pure black. Its body twisted, bones cracking. It lunged at Lyra. Rex didn't hesitate. He tackled the beast, slammed it into a wall, and drove. His blade into its throat. It shrieked, and then exploded into black dust. Lyra was shaken. It's begun. Rex stared at the sphere. This is what it wants, isn't it? Chaos. Fear. It feeds on it, she nodded. If it reaches the surface, it won't stop. Ghost growled low, stepping forward, but the whispers were louder now, calling to Rex. You survived the jungle. Now survive. Rex fell to his knees, clutching his head. Vision slammed into him. Earth burning. Cities drowned in shadows. Lyra screaming his name. And in every image, Rex stood at the center, not as a man, but as its host. Lyra held him. You must fight it, Rex gasped, shaking. I can feel it. It knows me. It's offering me power. She looked in his eyes. Then give it something it doesn't understand. He stared. What? Sacrifice. He stood, blood on his hands, fire in his eyes. Okay, he said to the Hollow Star. You want a mind? A soul? A piece of me? He looked back at Lyra, at Ghost. I'll give you what you want. He turned to Lyra and whispered something only she could hear. Then he ran straight into the black sphere. It screamed. Reality bent. The walls cracked. And then light. A burst of white energy exploded outward. The whisper stopped. The Hollow Star was gone. And Rex was gone too. Silence. Lyra dropped to her knees. He did it. Ghost howled. Above. The sky cleared for the first time in centuries. Blue, bright, alive. But deep within the vault, one flame still burned. A spark, a heartbeat, a voice, still here. Asterisk tamed for a moment. The planet held its breath. No wind. Number. Growls. No whispers in the dark. The hollow star was gone, and so was Rex Carter. Lyra stood at the edge of the vault, staring into the black stillness where the sphere once hovered. Her hands trembled. Her eyes were wet. He had done it. He had given himself to stop the darkness, to save her. To save everything. She whispered. He tamed the untamable. Ghost lay beside her, quiet, unmoving. Even the jungle beasts had stopped. Like they were mourning their new Alpha. 3 days passed. The fires stopped. The sky turned blue. The jungle began to breathe again. Lyra returned to her people, and for the first time in history, the Illyri listened to an outsider's story. One night, as she stood alone near the edge of the jungle, she felt it. A heartbeat. Not hers. Not Ghost single quotes S. His. Deep inside the vault. Under rock and ruin, Rex floated in black nothing. But he wasn't dead. He was changed. The hollow star hadn't taken him. He had taken it, locked it in his mind, contained it, fought it every second, and somehow he was still winning. He opened his eyes. White sparks danced across his skin. His breath returned. His voice, steady, still here. Lyra ran back to the jungle, guided by instinct. The earth cracked. The vault exploded with light, and from the smoke. He walked out, scarred, tired, glowing faintly. Rex Carter. Alive. Lyra gasped. You how? He smiled weakly. It wanted control. I gave it rules instead. Ghost roared from the treetops and leapt into the clearing, circling him like a loyal hound. Lyra rushed forward. We thought you were gone. Rex nodded. I was. Part of me still is. She touched his face, but the best part came back. He looked around, the jungle watching. Predators in the trees, eyes blinking from the shadows, and not one of them moved. They were waiting for orders. Rex stepped forward, lifted his hand, and every predator knelt, even Ghost, even the new Alpha of the Eastern Pack, every clawed monster, every howling beast. Tamed. News spread fast across the stars. A human had survived. XYL or -9. Not just survived, conquered. Aliens whispered his name. Like a myth. Soldiers studied his tactics. Scientists begged for his DNA. Politicians feared his return. But Rex didn't leave. He stayed, because this wasn't just a jungle anymore. It was his kingdom. Lyra stood beside him at the peak of a high ridge, watching the sun rise. You turned death into loyalty, she said, and chaos into peace. Rex shrugged. Just needed a good plan. And a few sticks. She smiled. What now? He looked over the vast jungle, the beasts, the sky. Then he turned to her. Now, we train the galaxy. Final shot. In the far distance, another escape pod crashes. Flames, smoke, screams, and a lone figure crawling out. Unlucky visitor. Rex watches from the trees above. Smirks. Let's see if they're smarter than I was.